Hi, welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Charie Ginete-Ilon. My guest today is an international best-selling author of Legacy Mentorship, Mentoring Strategies, Mentees Value for Life, international award-winning choir master who has trained and led various local and international choirs at choral competitions and performances locally and abroad, winning several gold medals in various categories and competitions in several countries like Spain, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. She's an educator and mentor for the last 30 years, teaching music and values education, among other subject areas, and mentoring young girls and women from different countries and cultures around the world. She is Angela Kliatchko and fondly called Miss Lala. Hi, Miss
Thank you
Lala.
so much. Thank you so much, Charie, for that generous introduction. It's my pleasure to be on your show.
I'm
Thank you.
yeah, of course, and I'm glad to have you. Why a book on legacy mentorship?
Yeah, why the book on legacy mentorship? Well,
Yes.
when I was really writing or thinking of titles that I could write about during the lockdown, actually, and convalescing from a radiation treatment of cancer last year, I was thinking of several titles, and what I really thought was what edge I probably have as an educator and formator that would make me different from others. Um, and I wanted to write on teaching strategies and all that, but I thought that having been fortunate to get into mentoring and to know what it is from experience, because I'm not a psychology major. I mean, I didn't study mentorship, but I happen to have studied in PAREF, as you mentioned, the Parent Education Foundation, where mentoring is institutionalized. So every child actually has an adult teacher or parent who mentors them, not just academically, but in all aspects of life. Now, after I was there for my elementary grade, my years, and when I finished college, I decided to go back. This time as a mentor. So all those experiences of mine and I guess success stories.
Yeah.
And I thought what really people need today more in education is probably we have so much of the teaching strategies already. What we probably need is how to develop the total child individually through mentoring. So I thought this was an edge that I could probably write about, and just to bring out the what I thought was effective in me or the success stories of a few of my mentees that I have journeyed with. So I chose 30 lives of the 30 years of my teaching, and that's what I put together into a book.
Wow,
Yeah.
30 lives of 30 years in teaching, meaning to say you're talking about your 30 mentees.
Well, yes. In the book, there are the lives of, I mean, I just chose 30 out of probably 100 who have passed through me. I cannot count.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really know. Yeah.
First, the question, what does it take to be a mentor?
Oh, wow. I always say that I think anybody could be a mentor as long as we are interested in helping, forming, educating the total child, as I said, integrally. As long as, as teachers, and I always think that all teachers should be mentors naturally, no? Because we're not just after teaching the academics or the subject matter that we have at hand.
Yes.
We're interested in the growth and development of every child in our midst. So after teaching music, after giving all these educational subjects, content of my subject matter, I have to go beyond. I have to be interested in the family of the child, the background, what affects the person psychologically, and you help in all those aspects. So mentoring is something that came to me very naturally, even if I said it was institutionalized in the school where I was. Our interest in the children, in individuals, the heart. That's why now I go around and I give talks on the heart of teaching, because this is it. It's beyond the academics. It's really focusing on the whole child. And that's what mentoring is all about. It's equipping them. If we go into mentoring, because mentoring comes from the Latin word mens mentis. It's another subject I teach, okay, Latin. So I go very much into roots of things. Well, it's all about the mind and thinking. So it's actually equipping children, even young as they are, to be thinking maturely. It's to help them develop that thinking, and so that they can decide for themselves and be independent even at young ages. That's exactly what we do in mentoring, and many more. And be friends with our students. So it's a very natural thing. I think anybody that has a heart, and everybody has a heart, we can all empathize. So we can all be mentors, and all teachers should be mentors.
But what is legacy mentorship?
Okay. Yeah. Well, I thought, since I was thinking, I guess cancer hitting you, sometimes you think,
Yes.
what will I leave behind, right?
Yeah.
Um, Although I had a very small stage of cancer, but anyway, that's
You are,
aside. But
may
no,
I ask, are you're okay now? You're convalescing. You
I'm
are,
fine. I had
you're fine.
radiation
Good.
treatment
Yeah.
exactly a year ago.
Yeah.
I am, well, for the moment cancer free, but still taking the meds for the next 5 years. That's how we are,
Yes.
and surveillance. But I'm fine, totally. I mean, I function, and it's off my head oftentimes. But somehow, that hits you and gets you thinking,
Yeah.
what am I leaving behind, or what am I, right, in lives of people? And so when I thought about it, writing a book, it's not really my thing, but
Mhm.
I had time, I had people encouraging me.
Yeah.
So then when I got down to writing, I thought this might be my legacy, because many times in the past I always get asked, I as I said, I did not study psychology. I
Mhm.
myself wonder when people ask me why I hit it off quite instantly with just anybody, or a mentee, or a student. And so people ask me, what's your secret?
Yeah.
And so I asked myself, I don't own any secret. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't know what's in me. So
Yeah.
that really, I guess cancer kicking in gets you reflecting a bit more. And
Yeah.
I said, I guess this might be a legacy I can leave behind. And I'm not inventing. This is
Yeah.
not 1, 2, 3 lives. These are 30 that I can at least
Yes.
write about, who claim, by the way, all those 30 mentees read their portions
Yeah.
before I brought it out.
Yeah.
And they all not only agreed to it, they were all awed, thinking, did you write this yesterday, or did you write it in 1993 when we were talking about this? How do you remember everything in detail?
Wow.
And I'm
Wow.
like, I have a very good memory, but I guess I have the heart. I
Oh,
guess I
that's
love. That's
wonderful.
why
Yeah.
I can write about it as though it happened
Yeah.
yesterday.
Wow. That is why
Things
it's
that
an
happened in
international
1993.
bestseller too. Because yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. I don't really know. But that's it. I was just exposing probably a secret, which
Yeah.
I didn't want to keep to myself.
Mhm.
Was ready to divulge it. And if there was any secret, it was really loving. It was really
Yeah.
loving
Yes. Yes.
students,
That's great. Yes.
really and truly and sincerely, and not
Yeah.
faking it, like really,
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really.
Because one,
So that,
especially if you're
yeah.
mentoring, I would think that one could feel the sincerity of the mentor,
I
right?
hope
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Yeah. That's very
And
important. That's very important for a mentor. We just don't drop beautiful phrases that we want our mentees to hear. We say it sincerely. We're committed to what we drop and what we say. When
yeah.
I tell a mentee, I'm with you in this journey, or I feel you, I'm
Yeah.
not faking it. I'm not just saying nice things that, to console a person. I am
Yeah.
really there with you. I
Yeah.
mean, get me checking on you in a few hours, or get me, I'm really concerned.
Yes.
So yeah, I guess that's what it takes to be a mentor. Have the heart.
Yeah. Apart from that,
Yeah.
because you've mentioned that anyone could be a mentor, right? Anyone could be a mentor. But what are the qualities of a good mentor that mentees will really value for life?
Okay. One thing I love is to talk, but I guess that's why I like mentoring, because it honed the opposite in me. I had to listen. I
Yeah.
had to learn how to listen. And that's what I'm grateful for mentoring for, because it really made me shut up and work the ears away. So that's one thing, really, the listening heart. That's what I call it. The
Yeah.
listening heart and the patience to accompany. It's easy to be with a person when things are good.
Yeah.
But when things are not going well, it's hard. And it's hard to empathize to the point of taking in the burden
Yeah.
of someone and telling a person, I have this shared, you have my back. I mean, I'm with you in this.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's that. I think it's listening, having a listening ear, a listening heart,
Yeah.
empathy, and the patience to be able to accompany and journey through with a person until the end. I
Yeah.
tell you, those mentoring, I wrote the 30 lives. I'm still with them today. Those lives don't have an ending.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at the book, until today we are continuing via Zoom.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
it is.
Yeah.
I always tell my mentees, once a mentee, forever a mentee. You're a mentee for life.
Yeah.
And I keep to that commitment. I am not married. I don't have my own children, but these are the children I never had. And I have loads. I have a lot of them, and still increasing in number, because I continue to teach and I continue to mentor, and I continue to have new mentees come to me
Yes.
for life coaching. It's
Yeah.
endless.
That's great. In your book, you have mentioned or you have talked about the ABCs of mentoring. Can you share with us some of these ABCs?
Yes, I think it would be too long to say
Yeah,
all of them.
yeah.
All right. I love acronyms. If there's
Mhm.
anything, because I have a poor memory, I guess I really like committing whatever I memorize to acronyms.
Yeah,
Now, when I was developing the book one night, I challenged myself before sleeping. Can I really have an ABC? For each letter, can I say
yeah,
something about mentoring? So I started with the hardest letters.
yeah. And
K, Q, X. I said, if I
okay,
can give something for these letters, then I'm good to go.
that's
Because
a
A
smart
is
thing to
easy,
do.
accompanying. B is easy, believe in your mentee. It's easy. E is empathize. I
Yeah.
could easily get those off. So I went to K. And I
Okay.
said, of course, off my head, I said, knowing the people deeply. You cannot, you need to, I always say this, I penetrate lives.
Mm.
I get into them like probably in ways that not even their parents know them. I get that a lot. They tell me, Miss Kay, I'm telling you something. Oh, sorry, my students before that I was mentoring in the paradigm school would call me Miss Kay. They say, I'm telling you something that I never did not even tell anyone else, or not even my parent, not even my boyfriend. So these are things that a mentor gets. So K, know deeply. And I guess with that knowing deeply is real interest in wanting to know, not chismis, not because I just want to, but because all of these details and factors are necessary to help a child to
Yeah.
move ahead. So that K, and getting into their world, is to know deeply. And Q,
Yeah.
when I got to Q, I said, easy questions,
Oh,
asking the right questions.
yeah.
And I get this a lot. I have mentees ask me, Miss K, I never wanted to say this, but you always have a way of cracking me open.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. I tell myself, I'm just spirit led. I don't plan my chats. I don't plan what to ask. Of
Yeah.
course, I pray for them.
Yeah.
That's one thing. I guess when I pray for a mentee and for
Mhm.
everything that I have heard in the last chat, then
Yeah.
I hear the Holy Spirit tell me, guide her here, lead her here. No, I don't claim to be the one
Yeah.
really leading them. No? It's
Yeah.
really spirit led. That's how I
Yeah.
call it.
Mhm.
And so why do you know what to ask, what questions to ask? You always ask the right questions. I get that a lot. So I said, Q, easy questions. Then I went to X.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
said, well, X factor of mentoring is what I am. Love. Okay, that's the X
Yeah.
factor.
Yeah.
Just love them. Incidentally, Charie, I'll tell you, the other day, since I work in a Chinese school, and
Yeah.
every graduation period, we get reminded of our Chinese names. No?
Yeah.
I don't know if the Chinese listeners will agree with this, but I just recall that my Chinese name is Tian Shi, which is angel, but which
Oh,
also means love. And I
wow.
thought, wow, it's really, I think, what I am oozing with. I don't know how to call
That's
it.
wonderful.
That's why they say I'm a very happy celibate, because I don't really need love in the sense that I'm surrounded by it with
Yeah.
all the mentees around. Yeah.
Yeah. You've mentioned that you still continue to mentor all of the mentees that you've had, and now
Oh
you
yeah.
have new
Oh yeah.
mentees as well. You have new
Yes.
mentees.
Yes.
How do
Yeah.
you mentor someone in the midst of the pandemic? Do you do it via
Oh
Zoom,
wow.
etc.? Tell us.
Yes, yes, via Zoom. If you've read my book, there are two stories there. Actually, the first three stories are of mentees circa 90s, meaning they're already professionals, they're in their 40s,
Mhm.
married with children. And I continue to mentor them. One of them is based in Malaysia, and she calls me regularly, and
Yeah.
she tells me everything about her and all the updates. It's not as regular as probably we used to do in the past, twice a month. Now I see them monthly via Zoom. But now, okay, that's continuing, because once a mentee, it's a mentee for life. So
Yeah.
I have them. But then the new ones is the
Mhm.
students nowadays,
Yes.
especially for the past year, it was
Yes.
tough. All the adjustments that they had to go through, all the more we had to be close by. It's
Yeah.
not a time for mentors who say, oh, I'm glad I don't see the kids, I'm free. No, no, not at all. Even more, how do I get it now? So after classes, the synchronous classes that we hold,
Yes.
actually way before, I usually get one or two students already setting their appointments with me, telling me,
Okay.
Miss Lala, can I see you 10 minutes before class? Can I see, because mentoring does not have to take such a long time. Well,
Yeah.
it depends on what they have to say. But, it can take a few minutes
Yeah.
catching up,
Yeah.
updating. And then I have something to bring to prayer, and I have something to say probably at another time. I get back to the mentee and I say, hey, about this that you told me before, I thought maybe you could do this. And so it can be answering them shortly or later.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to take so much time. But during the pandemic, it was really accompanying. That's the A of the ABCs, accompanying the persons in what they're going through at the moment, all the adjustments, how it was, psychologically, to get them mentally healthy still, despite not leaving the house and having everything via the laptop. No, it was crazy for some of them. But so that was the way, just being there, checking up, asking them, and then them opening up. This is how things are at home, and it's not so, I don't like it being with some of them. I have advice to move from a parent's house to probably a grandparent's house, just to have some air, just to breathe and to be sane, to keep sane. So things like that, you give a few suggestions and you be with them. And then I really remember all the things that they talk about and their problems, and being there for them.
Yeah. It really helps to have a mentor, right? Like, for you to have someone to talk to.
Wow.
And being a mentor is not just about advising and counseling, it's also about listening and knowing that person. Yeah.
Not at all, definitely. All of that, yeah.
Yes. Miss Lala, are there also boundaries in mentoring? If there are, what are these boundaries?
Oh, well, yes, of course. I would say initially none, okay, because it really encompasses everything. It's a comprehensive life of a person. So as long as the person is willing to bring up anything and everything under the sun, then there are no boundaries. However, I'd probably say the prudence and the confidentiality about the things that we hear, out of respect, and things are probably said in of the deepest consciences of the person sometimes. So out of respect for that, it's really keeping it, our word and commitment of it's between us, or it's a secret. Miss Lala, don't tell anybody, definitely. And so those are the, I keep them between me and the Holy Spirit. And there's nowhere else. And I always tell them, who am I to say this to anyway? Or so a lot of confidentiality, prudence. I guess that would be the limitation, the boundary. But a lot of respect and because of the consciences of the people. Whatever is said in confidence is kept in confidence.
Yes, that is very good. When and how can you tell that the mentorship is working?
Okay. Yeah, I would say, well, one, if the person is improving. So, because every time I have a new mentee or so, I always make a goal for myself. If I cannot communicate it with the mentee, why don't we work on this? I think you need this. And, you're just, laziness is kicking in, we have to help you. Why not make a schedule, etc. So I share, of course, my goal with the mentee, because that's hers or his, not to do. And we work on it. So if I see progress, then that's a sign. Another area would probably be the confidence that grows between us. The friendship gets deeper. There's greater confidence. He or she is able to open up about more things, and we're able to embark on more areas of points of improvement and all that. So that's when I think it's working. And if the person keeps coming back, that means, it works. And the person wants you, and the person wants to continue being with you. And that's why I say it's for life.
Yes. In your book, Legacy Mentorship, you have talked about the 30 lives of your 30 mentees. How are they now? Like, generally, are they successful? Are they happy in their lives? Tell us about them.
Yeah. Well, that's actually, I had one critique tell me, all these lives that you talk about are all fantastic. They're all successful. Why don't you talk about those that are problematic and all that? I just wanted to tell him, you're reading the practically the success story or the end of the story. There were challenges along the way, and a lot of it, right? So I would say yes, maybe the 30. That's why I picked them, I handpicked them, is because they're leading very good lives, and I guess that's where the mentoring worked in them. So I wanted to showcase that. I would say yes, that I'm proud to say they are successful now. Some of them struggled. Well, I'll tell you, very subtly, probably in the book, and this is what I told that critique. There's one of them who probably struggling through high school and all that. They want to continue living. That's one. That was very painful for us in that journey, but we pulled through.
Yeah.
And I tell you, this person is a very successful, almost graduating from college today. Well, that's a very, just to see this person alive, thriving, happy during the pandemic. We've gotten in touch very recently. Grateful for life,
Yes.
grateful that we're still here. So those are, I think, yes, I would say 100% from the book, at least, success stories. Yeah.
Apart from being an active mentor, you are also teaching values education. Let's talk about that. What
Yes,
are
I do.
the most
Yeah.
important values that a person should have?
Well, I think, especially for mentors, is the integrity of life. Because I always say, in the end, what really mentors, more than what we say, of course, we cannot give what we do not have, right? But it's really our lives that mentor.
Yeah.
So it's an integrity of life. I would say that's the most important thing that we need, because it's the good example that we give to the others, and that we do what we do what we preach, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we are not we have to walk the talk, right?
Yeah.
Okay, aside from that, well, the heart and the love that I was talking about, a loving life, loving relationships with everybody, I think that's very important.
Yeah.
And I'd say, well, in my case, some of the values that I imbibe, aside from integrity and love, is professionalism at work. Of course, combined with the chill life of Bacolod, without stressing yourself too much. Yeah. But the professionalism at work, and working well, and delivering, and in your profession. That's very important, I think, the professionalism. And I'd say optimism, positivity, cheerfulness.
Yes.
I mean, if you notice, this is something that I think I try to imbibe as far as I can, because life is not easy, and for many of our mentees, they come to you troubled, and I have to give positivity, I have to give optimism, I have to give hope, and so I have to start it with myself. And I always say that, started myself in these
How do
four
you do
things:
that? How do
integrity,
you start
love.
positivity? I'm sorry, how do you do
Well,
that?
I
How do
guess,
you start positivity for our listeners? How do you imbibe hope and then spread it?
yeah, well, I guess a life of habit of everyday prayer. I mean, that one for me really works. You know how you thresh things out with God in prayer, and how you put aside things that are unimportant, nega vibes, like these are the things you put aside, and I always think that maybe when I was looking back at my cancer, why did I get cancer? Okay, aside from the genes and all that, because I'm a very positive person. I guess I would charge it to intensity at work. So probably that's why, I'm a very intense person, as you notice. I'm very passionate with what I do. So maybe there, but really the positivity has to be there, no? So especially when I got the cancer, all the more, the nega vibes aside, threshing things out in prayer every day. I always start my day with that. I don't go to work without the bulk of minutes. And I say bulk because it's 30 minutes in the morning, and it's 30 minutes when I get back in the afternoon from work, and really threshing things out with God. And it's like renewing my heart. It's like and upgrading it, sort of, to just be focused on the things that I have to be focused in.
That's great. I would like to emphasize the core value that you have mentioned, the integrity of life. I truly like that. And however, how do we teach values? Like, especially for parents, for teachers, it's not just like you just say, okay, have integrity. You don't do that, right? So how do you teach values?
Yeah, by our lives. I always say that. It's again the good example that we imbibe. If they see us positive, they see us doing things well. They see us with our principles that are, we don't compromise our principles. We are consistent. These are the things that actually teach. If we're very consistent. You remind me of something that a boy just told me the other day after class. He asked if he could stay after the synchronous online class, and then he just told me that, Miss La, you are aware that I am not a believer. Maybe I teach values. So the boy said, "You've been my teacher since last year, and I know, and you know that I'm not a believer. But if there's anything I want to tell you, I appreciate about you, is that you are passionate, and you show your bias, which is your love for God,
Yes.
and you're very consistent about that. He said, that just makes me think. So then I realized it's so important to stick to our principles,
Yeah.
to never mind if we have to show our bias, but that guy knows I respect him a lot. He's one of my best students, and I love him with a passion, even with the way he thinks and what he believes. But that's it, and be consistent. Be
That's
consistent with your life. I think that's the way to really mentor. And I say it's the life that mentors. It's not the words.
correct.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yes, definitely.
The
Yeah.
way you live, that you can impart values, right? And
Yes.
seeing and hearing you talk, I could say that you are really passionate and you have a lot of heart. And so how did this come about? Who influenced you to have these things and to be these?
Well, yeah, I have a very good family to start with. My parents are fantastic. They're both in heaven now. And they were both teachers and educators also, with among other things. Now, I think we're a family with a lot of things. If you notice, I also wear several hats. All of us were like that. Anyway, my parents, I would say, my siblings, we are 6. I'm 5th. And I admire all my siblings. We're all teachers.
Yeah.
We're all educators, among other things again. Yeah, and I have my 2 eldest brothers who are really very big influences for me. They encourage me a lot. They are both writers also. My father was also a writer. So it was my eldest brother actually who pushed me about this whole idea of writing, which initially I thought was only therapy for the cancer, but it ended up, really it was a big help, and I thought it was good. So he believed in me and he mentored me and he put all this whole thing in Amazon. They did everything for me. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'd say, well, there is one saint that I actually abide by. He's called the Saint of Ordinary Life. I don't know if you've heard of him. That's why I like his teaching on holiness in our work and professionalism in our work. And this is Saint Jose Maria Escriva, who was canonized in 2002. And I happen to be one of the choir directors of the choir during his canonization in Rome. And I'm very grateful for that. So we were several conductors. We were 20 choirs, and I got that fortune of singing and conducting for his canonization. Well, he's been done a very big mark in my life. And with the other last influencer I have is Saint John Paul II. My luck of having studied in Rome for 4 years, I also got to sing a lot for him in the Vatican and to meet him very personally in those times that I would sing in the Vatican and hear his teachings and really see what a calm person he was. And just by his person, he was mentoring, he was teaching, he was, wow. And really, that's why I'm also an advocate of theology of the body. That's all of John Paul II. And that's the reason why I do all that. These are the saints of my life. My brothers are the boys in my life, and my parents. I guess they're the best influencers I have. Yeah.
Wow. You've been singing and playing the piano, right?
Well, yes, I sing and conduct more than I play now.
Okay, you sing and conduct. So
Yeah.
it makes me curious. If there's one song that would depict your life and how you see life, what would that song be?
I guess You Raise Me Up. And I like that song so much. It speaks of God raising me, myself probably raising others. I mean, it could be, and it's about mentoring. And I like it. It's a very uplifting song.
Yeah. It was great talking to you, Miss Lala. I've learned
my pleasure.
And I would really encourage our listeners to get a copy of your book. It's called Legacy Mentorship, Mentoring Strategies Mentees Value for Life. How could I get a copy of your book?
All right. For the moment, it's in Amazon. If you're in any part of the world that's in Amazon land, you can just get it. It's very cheap. Okay.
I get a copy and I will read it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Charie. It's very, very easy read, very feel good. I think that's what most of them say. You can get them from me personally, where you can PM me, find me in Facebook, Lala Kliatchko. Scholastic, which is the academic publisher here in Manila, they're also putting it their dear books online, but only for pre-orders, and they also get to me for the physical book ordering. So I can do that. I can ship it to you. Just get in touch with me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Miss Lala.
Oh,
Yes.
my pleasure, Charie. Thank you.
Before I let you go, I would like to ask, what would be the best counsel that you would like to give to an aspiring mentor?
Oh, love others. Get into the interest, that real interest in wanting to help other people. Look at persons in their totality and not only in one aspect, and want to be a part of a journey of a young person and accompany that person all throughout. But start with that loving heart. Hone it, the empathetic and loving heart for others.
Oh, wonderful.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, Charie. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
And stay well. And I will read that book. I already got a copy, but I haven't gotten to reading it yet. But now I'm very much inspired to read it. And
enjoy it.
Get a
enjoy
copy.
it. All right.
I will certainly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes. If you like this episode, please show some love, like this episode, and share it with your friends. I'm your host, Charie Ginete-Ilon, and my guest is Miss Angela Lala Kliatchko. This is.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.